Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Tuesday, November 12th, and your everybody's favorite friend Tina and I are here to try and catch the Union Railroad's transfer job out of West Mifflin, which appears to be coming up the hill right now. Apparently they have cut of cars to come up for Duquesne Yard, and then they're going to pick up two cuts and head back to West Mifflin for interchange. In the meantime, we'll see what else can happen around here and what else we can get into. So let's see what goes on. The train's going to pull past the interlocking here, and the dispatcher will line up the switches, and I think they're going to shove back to Duquesne today. So let's take a look and see how that works out. Well, as the transfer job started to shove back to head towards the yard, we heard the leased switcher over there at the T-Sport Transfer fire up. And it looks like they've got a boxcar they're going to shove out on the lead for the next local to come pick up. Yeah, that looks like they're going to do that. That car will get picked up by a local probably tomorrow. But it's always nice to see more than one train running at a time. That engine's leased to them because it's a switchback move, and it's just easier for them to shove the cars out and pull the cars in on their own. And here comes the head end of the transfer job. And we'll head over to Duquesne and see what kind of trouble we can get into over there. Well, over here in Duquesne Yard, which is pretty well represented right now, it appears that there are two tracks of cars that go back to interchange. The first track is going to be number 2 track, which is right here. That's going to be the small cut. And then behind the camera is the south lead, which has a cut of cars that also has to go. So the crew is going to go ahead and set the caboose out and then pick up the cut of cars on 2, put them against the caboose, and then shove their cars into 2, and then we'll double everything to the south lead and go from there and see if we can head back. And it should be about far enough. They'll set the caboose off and grab that cut on 2. And with the caboose tied down, and pull ahead and go into 2 track and grab all that and set it out against the caboose and shove back in the clear. And let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's going to overflow a little bit, but we'll see what we can do about finding a place to park all these cars. We might have to do a little shuffling here. So let's get ourselves lined up for 2 and go from there. Typical of making a video, the first time I pause the camera to make a coupling, it couples perfectly. If I had been running the camera, I would have been going back and forth against it 7, 8, 15, 120 times, just like the rest of you understand and know. So we made the coupling this time, and Let's see what we get out of this track. This transfer job runs in between operating sessions only to bring new freight up and take the old freight away and keeps things fresh. These cars that we're pulling down probably won't come back up onto the layout for 6 or 7 months, which is okay because I have more than enough cars to keep the variety going. Yeah, we're going to do the chopstick this time. There you go. And we threw the switch. So let's go ahead and shove these cars back against the caboose, cut away from them, see how much we can put into 2-track. And then we're going to go from there. Whatever we have to set over, we'll set over. And then get them headed back down to, well, staging, interchange. And get ourselves set up for the next operating session. All we have to do is transfer some paperwork from one clipboard to the other and change its origin, which is why I do everything in pencil. And that paperwork will be set up, so that won't take very long. And there we got the caboose. And we're going to shove it back and cut away and see what we can stash here in the yard. I think we're going to end up having to put some overflow probably over into 6-track because that's only got 2 cars on it and it'll hold a whole lot more. Come to think of it, I might just grab those 2 cars out of 2-track and put those, I'm sorry, out of 6-track and put those into 2 and then put this whole cut into 6. That might make more sense. Let's take a look at that. Yeah, it does make more sense to put 2 cars into a shorter track, and that way we can utilize the longest track for the big set off. So looks like that's what's going to happen today. And we'll do a little bit of shuffling of the paperwork later. We'll get these 2 out of the way, set off our big block, and we'll go grab the ones on the south lead and double to the gondola there in the front, do a quick air test, and head out of Dodge. Yeah, this made a whole lot more sense to do it this way. So this whole cut can just fit in this track, and the rest of it will just fall together much easier. Look at those 2 pretty SW1500s. Don't they just look marvelous? And they are good little workhorses. They do their job very well. Got plenty of room for all these cars. Nothing to it. You can see the difference in how dirty these engines can actually get, but working around steel mills, that's no surprise there. Well, the crew has run around the train after doubling it together, and now they're going to shove back to the interchange lead, and then they're just going to pull down the hill. So coming out caboose first, which is normal for the Union. They shove a lot of their trains a lot of the time, so this is not an unusual move here. This is pretty routine. They'll shove the whole train out and get down past the lead, and then dispatcher will line them up back for West Mifflin, and they'll pull on down, and I think that will wrap this up for the day. I don't think anything else is going to be running. Maryland Southern, what is that? Anyway, so like I said, this happens between operating sessions so that I can put fresh cars up on the layout and take the old ones off. I keep track of it on a spreadsheet as to when they come up on the layout, so I know the oldest cars, which ones have to get switched out and which ones need to go. Here's our power. Look at the weathering on that 17. Isn't that pretty? Ah, dirty, dirty, dirty. Isn't that terrible? Maybe I should install a car wash on this layout. Who knows? That could be next. I think this is kind of a neat view along the straight here that I wanted to show you. And for those who are going to get cranky and complain that there's not a conductor or an assistant conductor on the platform of the caboose, if you've ever gone and watched the real Union Railroad, you will know that the conductor or the assistant conductor who's watching the lead usually is inside the door, not outside. Probably for two reasons. One would be weather and the other would be safety. So they don't want to get rocks thrown at them or get shot at or any of that mess. But they will watch the leading end of the move as required by the rules and make sure that everything is the way it's supposed to be. They'll call signals, etc. And if there's any problems, they can certainly stop the train if they need to. But in the meantime, this is kind of a tribute to Matt Loera as well. He loves to run trains, his Union Railroad stuff, and shove trains, so I thought this would be kind of fun for him to watch. But if you've never been up to Pittsburgh and gone and watched the Union, this is the kind of thing you'll see all the time. And yes, that is a steep grade. It's 2.5% down, but we have plenty of power and plenty of brakes. The train's not going to get away from us. But this is its ultimate destination, so we'll send it back home. And then after the next operating session, we'll do this again, and we'll send them down the hill. So we will wrap up this transfer job and watch them disappear into the darkness and call it a day, and hope everybody has a good week. And as usual, happy model railroading. And lo and behold, here we go. I know she's going to do it. I know she's going to do it. Yep. Tina wants to watch the train. Good old Tina Turner. Anyway, say goodbye to the 50 crew, and everybody have a great day, and happy modeling.